Hold on. Okay, so good morning, everyone. I'm filming in a different location this morning, but I really wanted to make a video talking about Miles, talking about a rumor that's been going on about Marvel's Spider-Man that comes out in 2017. So what the rumor is that Marvel, the 2017 reboot, for those of you who don't know, it's definitely not going to be Andrew Garfield. Kevin Feige confirmed that. Well, that was confirmed by the Sony hacks. It's not going to be Andrew. It's going to be completely new Spider-Man. Now, but the thing is, the question is, will it be Peter Parker? You see, there are rumors now, because if you look at what DC is doing, DC had to reboot the Dark Knight trilogy. Now, when they first announced, because Christopher Nolan only wanted the Dark Knight movies to go on for 3 films. He said that before. He said that he planned it out to be a 3-film trilogy. And 2, because the Dark Knight films are grounded in reality. Like, every nook and cranny had to be changed just so that it would fit in with the real world. Like, for instance, Bane was just a guy who was really strong. He wasn't injected with venom. And Joker, he didn't have his face dipped in acid. He put makeup on and had scars instead of lipstick. That's just how realistic it was. And here's the thing, how would something that realistic fit in with Green Lantern and Superman and Wonder Woman and Aquaman? It really doesn't fit in well, but and that's why I think they had to reboot it. But what they did was smart, because originally they were getting some mixed reception from the audience about a reboot. So they came up with this creative idea, which was, okay, we'll say the reboot's in 2015, but it won't necessarily be another generic Batman movie. No, what they did was they got Superman. They said, okay, it's gonna be it's a Man of Steel sequel, and we're gonna take the Superman from Man of Steel, and we're gonna pit him up against this new rebooted Batman, which of course was Ben Affleck. We know now will be Ben Affleck. Now, obviously, they had to push it from 2015 to 2016, but the rumor is that Marvel might do something like that, because they're already under a little bit of fire from some fans that they're not going to keep Andrew Garfield. Now, I've said in another video that is likely due to continuity. I don't think it's, oh, we hate Andrew Garfield or anything. No, I think it's probably continuity. Also, I think they really want to put they really want to put Peter Parker in high school. So I think that's another reason why. And if you want to put Peter Parker in high school, who better to do that than with Miles Morales? Now, there has been a lot of mixed reception from both sides of the aisle about having Miles Morales, and I've kind of gotten a mixed feeling about it myself. Here's the one thing. One thing a lot of people argue is that if Spider-Man is going to appear in Civil War, it has to be Peter Parker. I disagree. Because yes, I know there's the comics and all that, and I love the comics, and I've read the Civil War comics, and I cherish them. They're some of the greatest, I'm not kidding, the Civil War comics series is one of the greatest comics I've ever read. But they're already changing a lot for the movie. For instance, Kevin Feige has already confirmed the Captain America Civil War won't focus as much on secret identities, because, you know, pretty much all the Avengers now, everybody in the Avengers now, everybody knows their secret identities. Everybody knows Tony Stark's Iron Man. Everybody knows Thor is, well, Thor. Everybody knows Bruce Banner's the Hulk. Everybody knows Steve Rogers Captain America. Everybody knows Natasha Romanoff is Black Widow. Everybody knows Clint Barton is Hawkeye. So really there aren't any secret identities at this point. So it likely won't be that. But here's the thing. I could really see Miles fitting well into Civil War, because keep in mind, you got the whole thing with for those of you who haven't read the Ultimate Comics with Miles Morales, I'm going to give some spoilers for those, so if you don't want spoilers, get out. There's a door right over there. Okay, are you out? Okay, better be out. Okay, I'm going to talk spoilers now. Okay, but in the Ultimate Comics, Miles' dad hates superpowered beings. Like, he hates mutants. Well, it specifically hates mutants. But, he points to Human Torch and he says, well, I hate that dude. Well, and obviously Miles points out, well, you know, the Human Torch really isn't a mutant. He's like, I don't care, I still hate him. He's got superpowers, I hate him. So, that's the thing. You could really work well with that, and especially since Miles' mother was killed by the Venom symbiote. You know, she died, and she said to Miles when she died, oh, you can never let your father know about this. That could really work well. I mean, just imagine it. I just imagine Miles, like, and that led to the Spider-Man No More, the Ultimate Spider-Man No More story, which was different than the Spider-Man No More from Amazing Spider-Man number 50, but which is also one of the greatest Spider-Man stories I've ever read. What you could do, instead of having the Ultimate Spider-Man No More story, say this is right after, you could acknowledge that Peter Parker was Spider-Man some time ago. Like, a lot of people have said, well, you can't just do that. You can't just say Miles is Spider-Man without having Peter Parker. You could still have Peter Parker. You could say, because what they're doing with Ant-Man right now, for those of you who haven't seen the trailer, they're saying Hank Pym was Ant-Man some time ago. But they're also saying that, but they're saying that, oh, now he retired some time ago and now Scott Lang is taking over the mantle. They could say that with Miles Morales. They could say, oh, Peter Parker was killed by the Sinister Six some time ago, and now Miles has taken over the mantle. And I'm a big fan of Miles Morales. I love the character. So you could do that. But I don't think you can. Well, I think you can. First off, I'm not really sure if they will go with Miles for a couple reasons. First of all, it said in the article that officially announced on Marvel.com, that officially announced that Spider-Man was going to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It said Peter Parker. It said they were going with Peter Parker. It said Peter Parker's story, and they are looking at Logan Lerman and Dylan O'Brien right now. So, you know, yeah, they're already Peter Parkers that are being looked at. Yeah, and why would you look at Peter Parker if you're already looking at, you know, why would you be doing Miles Morales if you're already looking at people to play Peter Parker? But here's the thing, I don't know how I feel about it, really, because it could work really well with Civil War, and I could honestly imagine Miles taking his mask off having the same impact as Peter Parker taking his mask off to the world. I could still imagine that having the same impact. And especially since I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Miles revealed his identity to his dad. So, that could be how his dad figures out in this. He could be like, I'm Miles Morales, I'm the new Spider-Man. And and there could be a lot more tension, because everybody could be like, because after Ultimate Peter Parker dies, everybody figures out Ultimate Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So, everybody could be like, why are you dressing up as Peter Parker? Who's this new Spider-Man? And then he takes off his mask and he's like, I'm Miles Morales. That could really, really work. I think that could have a lot of impact. Now, there's been a lot of complaint that they need to have Miles before. Again, I don't mind them just saying, oh, Spider-Man, Peter Parker was killed before. They have to acknowledge it. If they're going to have Miles Morales, they have to acknowledge Peter Parker somehow. I agree with that. But here's the thing. I don't know if that would be appropriate. I think it would be appropriate, but some people might find it inappropriate to just have Miles all of a sudden without having a whole movie to kill off Peter Parker. So that might be a little bit controversial. Another thing, I'm going to say, my biggest con about this is that we finally have Spider-Man back. He's going to be in the Avengers eventually. Nobody waited, like, how many years just to have Spider-Man in the Avengers? Like, nobody waited, like, a decade just to have a Spider-Man in the Avengers that wasn't Peter Parker. Since day one, since they announced Marvel Studios was being founded, everybody was like, well, why isn't Spider-Man there? The reason why, and now we have him back, but all these years people have wanted Spider-Man, but it's not Miles Morales they've wanted. It's Peter Parker they've wanted. So, you know, I kind of have mixed feelings about this. I would say, if I was thinking about who could play Miles if this does happen, I would say that, I'm sorry Donald Glover, but you're way too old. You're 31 and Miles is like 13. So I can't really picture you, Donald Glover. No offense. But I would say, who else would I say? Maybe I was gonna say Jaden Smith, but then you know, I was actually on the Jaden Smith Miles Morales train, but then, you know, there was After Earth, which was kind of a train wreck, and he won a Golden Raspberry for that, and I believe the Golden Raspberries are today, yay! But he won a Golden Raspberry for that. So I would say instead I would go with the kid from Blackish. He's not that well known, but at the same time they could make Miles Morales even more relatable. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Do you think Miles Morales should be the next Spider-Man in Marvel's Spider-Man coming out in 2017? Or do you think that they have to go with Peter Parker again? Let me know if you're one of those people that say, yes, we need Miles. Miles is the new Spider-Man. It's ridiculous to do 3 reboots with Peter Parker. Or if you're one of the people that say, no, it's got to be Peter Parker. Peter's the real Spider-Man. You can't have a Death of Spider-Man movie without, you can't have Peter Parker, you can't have Miles Morales if you don't have a whole movie where Peter dies first. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think, and I am out.